I'm Beverly Carter. This is my husband, Garland, and we are from Texas, small community called Oppland, Texas. We live in the country. I had breast cancer, and it had metastasized to liver and lungs and bones. Well, I found Brio-Medical probably different than most people do because I already knew Dr. Goodyear, and he had gotten me through the first treatments and the condition I came to Arizona in. And so the treatments that I had under him were very successful. I was not completely healed, but the treatments that he provided for me where he was gave me, my immune system, a lot of strength. I healed slowly, but a lot. Came back to Brio because Dr. Goodyear had become the medical director here. And I had to return because of relapse, I guess. Maybe he would call it a flare-up. Because after all the success we had had with the treatments we had taken, after 2.5 years, I did get COVID. Dr. Goodyear just stayed right on top of it. He knew I had it and kind of let me get over it, which we were very thankful that I did. It wasn't easy. I had a pretty good case of it. He sent me to get blood work done, and then he had it within a day or two, and I think he could tell that COVID had taxed my body, made some flare-ups happen. He could just tell that things had gone awry just from the blood work. And so I heard from him, and he just asked that would we be willing to come there and get a PET scan. And so we came back to Arizona, and that's the PET scan that I had, where it showed that little tiny bit of, they even just call it a lesion now in one part of my lung, same size, but just showed more activity, which it just showed that COVID had done what it does. It wakes it up and flares it up, and if I had waited, it would have grown. I was doing some treatments where I live, high-dose vitamin C I can get where I live, and that's a very effective treatment for killing cancer. So I was doing that there, and slowly getting better at home, which is what they want you to do. They want you to get to the point that you have healed enough that if you can keep up your new diet and your new way of life, you can keep the cancer healing. COVID infection and cancer, they just do their thing, which is they make cancer come back alive. Dr. Goodyear knows that and was very aware that that was probably happening in me. So that's when he asked me to come back and do the PET scan, which showed that I did have quite a bit more active cancer activity in the small lesions that were still in my lungs. And it also showed that I had developed enlarged lymph nodes around my heart that showed cancer activity. So what he suspected, which was a flare-up of cancer in my body, it actually did happen. So, for that reason, I'm so thankful that they didn't just send me home and say good luck. He keeps up with me and all the patients. He keeps up with you and checks your blood work and is well aware if you let him know.
The period of time that we had between when we got and she had the PET scan was only 5 or 6 weeks. And we were only, after the PET scan, probably 2 to 3 weeks before we were back for treatments. And it just seems very evident that the longer we had waited, the worse that it would have become, and the more we would have to go over the ground again to get rid of the cancer. So being on it, watching it, Dr. Goodyear encouraging us to get things done quickly made a world of difference. And it's a war with the cancer. and you don't want to have to go back and battle over the same ground 2 or 3 or 4 times. So you just have to stay on top of it.
Treatments here that treat cancer can also battle the COVID infection. So that's been very hopeful for us, because I had asked Dr. Goodyear, what will I do with this infection in my body since it's a virus infection? I was worried that it was just going to hang around. And so these treatments annihilate that too, infection as well as cancer.
A lot of doctors, it seems like that what we've heard, that people that got COVID that were completely healthy, they really weren't given much of a treatment. It was just let it run its course, or wait till you get on a ventilator and we'll put you in the hospital. There are treatments, and there are treatments, drugs and treatments that you got during that time that helped to get rid of the COVID and not make it any worse, but the COVID essentially turbocharges the cancer. It doesn't just cause it to start up again, it supercharges it, so it's going much faster than it had ever been before. And that's the reason you just have to stay on top of it. And don't let it get away from you, it can be really bad.
Said that, you know, I did come here quite hopeless, and sometimes, I know on the way here, I did think often, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? But I think the first conversation I had, well, I had some conversations with Dr. Goodyear at home, and he told me that just have hope. Have hope. There is some hope for you. So we did come because he said that to us, and that's what's here at Brio. No matter who it is you talk to, you know, they want you to have that confidence that there's hope for you, to be willing to do these treatments, because the treatments are taxing, they're repetitive, and sometimes they're just like, I just don't want to do this anymore. But because they give you hope in healing from all those, and you get that feeling from the nurses and the doctors around that just keeps you going.
When you come here, it's so much different than any other treatment facility or whatever, because as you come in, you're a patient. Within 48 hours, you're no longer a patient, you're family. And the other people that are here are constantly pumping everybody up, whether you be the patient or the family or whatever, and it makes a world of difference. I mean, it helps keep you in a positive mindset, and you just know that you're not in it alone, because all these other people are going through the same thing, and they're wanting success for you, because that encourages them, because there might be success for them too. So it's just an unusual place to be, but unusually great.
The standard of care here, everybody knows the answer to your questions. The doctors are right here on site with you. They're available for you. Any kind of issue you have, the doctors are here with you, and the nurses are everywhere. Well, everybody should come to Scottsdale. It's beautiful. The people here are friendly. The restaurants, I can eat at a lot of them, because the diet that I follow now is different than, I don't eat McDonald's ever again, but there's so many places here to eat that actually they are the diet that I will eat now. Treatments that are a low-dose chemo, it's very effective for me weekly. A lot of modalities they call a local hypothermia, the hot sauna, infrared sauna, lymphatic massages, acupuncture, a lot of PEMF, a lot of pulsating and electromagnetic fields that really talk in your body and heal. And well, I will say the major one for me was the biggest one ever that you just don't hardly find anywhere, but it's called hypothermia. Because after the hypothermia, I found out that it had cleared out of my bones. But what it is it raises your core temperature up at least 103, maybe to 105, and if your body gets used to it, maybe even higher. And it's sustained there for for a couple of hours because cancer can just not survive in that much heat without any oxygen. So it is the most effective treatment. A nurse is with you, they monitor you the whole time. Your heart is monitored, your inner core temperature is monitored, your blood pressure is monitored. They have things, medication to keep your heart stable and to also make you calm, make you drowsy, and possibly even sleep some. So it's very doable. People don't like it because I think nobody likes to be cold and nobody likes to be hot, but I think if people just understood how powerfully effective it is to killing cancer, people would just flock here to do it. I've had 6 hypothermia treatments, but before I had 6, maybe 7 hypothermia treatments, and then I had come back and had even more. But the next PET scan I had, it was gone out of my bones. Okay, I can say that I do feel better. I do feel better. I came with some uncomfortable pain, and that has all gone away. I don't have, it's like periods of time that it was hard and painful, but that has gone away. So I do feel like I have improved, even though it will be a little while longer before I can take another PET scan to see exactly. The hope that is here, it's just paramount, because when you come here hopeless because you've been told there is none for you, you didn't do it, or your body didn't react, or that's just all we can do for you, well, that's hopeless. So when anybody says, there's things we can do to make your body strong again and heal some things so that it can work for you, your body can heal and do what it's meant to do, is to stay strong and to live. That's very hopeful. And that's just what Brio-Medical is. There are other options besides the chemotherapy and radiation and surgery to cut cancer out. I think that's more wide known now than ever before, because that's how I found it, was just reading information. So I would just like to say, don't give up and come. Find a place that offers options for you and gives you hope, and know your body was actually created to be well and actually created to heal. I would just say, be willing to find a place, and I would suggest that you find Brio-Medical Center in Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, because we feel so successful here and hopeful. We just hope that this is just an ongoing new life for us. Brio-Medical is the Hope Center.